Can I max out every single skill by the first year of spring? Let's find out. Hello everybody, this is GamerGar. Let's jump straight into this challenge. So as per our usual day 1 activities, we're just getting our parsnips set up and we're going to run around the map to find as many forageables as possible. The target goals for today is at least foraging level 1 and mining level 1. The reason why I want mining level 1 today is because I want to go into the mines with the extra proficiency, so I use less energy when I swing the pickaxe, and it's also nice to make some cherry bombs if my energy gets very low. Any sort of forageables now I find today, most of them will be eaten, just so I get that extra burst of energy, so I can partake in more exercises today, such as swinging the axe and swinging the pickaxe. So we're going to water up these parsnips. We also have a couple of mixed seeds down there as well. We've got some cauliflowers. Eventually we get some potatoes too. There's a lot of rocks down here at the bottom of the farm. We're going to mine these up now until we get mining level 1. Now, we did get a bit lucky because some of the rocks contain coal. They give 6 XP instead of 1. Because we've no energy left and we don't really have any food items to eat, we're going to spend the rest of the day using our scythe to get as much fibre as possible. If we're going to max out all of our skills in spring, every single day is going to have to be a perfectly optimized day. There's a lot of day resets in this challenge. I don't show those, but just so you know, this video took an extraordinarily long time to make, so subscribe if you haven't. Level 1 foraging and level 1 mining. Now for a good portion of this video, especially for the first kind of week, it's going to be primarily fishing. And the reason why we're starting with fishing is because number 1, it's a great money maker, and number 2, we need to max it out sooner rather than later so we can move on to the rest of the skills. Now a lot of the fishing income is going to go towards upgrades, especially our tool upgrades, backpack upgrades. It's also going to fund our community centre as well, so we can get into the desert, into the skull caverns. Now I picked up a sea jelly today. I'm going to eat that straight away for the energy, but also it gives a +1 to fishing. It just increases the odds of me getting perfect catches. Now when it comes to maxing out fishing as quickly as possible, a lot of it comes down to luck when it comes to bubbles, but also to maximise perfect catches. If we get extremely lucky, we can get a perfect catch along with a fishing treasure chest. That means quadruple XP for us. Now, I'm going to sell all the fish I caught to Willy, but that just brings me up to 1100 gold. It's only 1210 at the moment. The reason why I was able to get level 2 so quickly is because I just got bubbles. It's just very lucky, to be honest. Now, it would be nice to get the fiberglass rod today, so we are going to do a quick run around Stardew Valley. We're going to see if we can sell some stuff to Pierre and then zip back down to Willy, pick up the fiberglass rod before he closes. If we can head up to the lake later on then with the fiberglass, we can get a lot more fish because we can attach bait to the fiberglass rod, and that dramatically increases the fishing bite rate. It just means more fish, more money, but more importantly, more XP, and we're all about XP at the moment. We now have 1900 gold, thank you very much Pierre. Straight back down to Willy, we're going to pick up the fiberglass rod for 1800 gold. With the rest of the money, we're going to purchase as much bait as possible. We can only afford just over 20 pieces there, but you know what? It's better than that. Then if we get lucky, we might find more bait inside the fishing treasure chests. Now for the rest of the day, we are just going to pull up tons of fish. The largemouth bass is probably one of the best XP fishes that you can do in spring. With the fiberglass rod, there's also a very good chance we can get some really good resources from the treasure chest, especially ores like copper, iron, gold. We can put all of those to use, no problem. There's of course a chance we can pick up a powerful weapon as well. It would be really nice to head into the mines on day 5 with a good powerful weapon instead of using the rusty sword. Now today we did get a lot of skill ups in fishing, which was nice. We got 3 skill ups right there. But today we're going to do even more fishing. Primarily we're going to target catfish. Now we just got 68 XP there for that catfish because we also got a fishing treasure chest, so that was nice. Once Willy opens up, we're going to set into catfish. We're going to get a trout soup straight away, and for the rest of our money we're going to get bait. The trout soup is important because it increases our fishing skill. That means a bigger fishing bar, and of course that's going to increase the chances that we can consecutively successfully pull up lovely catfish. And the main reason for catfishing today is money. We need an absolute ton of money if we're going to make the most out of getting XP in this challenge. Tool upgrades are absolutely essential, and sooner rather than later we will actually start upgrading our tools, primarily the pickaxe and the axe. Foraging is going to be the most challenging skill, believe it or not, to max out in spring because of the sheer amount of trees we're going to have to cut down. There probably won't even be enough trees in the game to get level 10 foraging, so we're going to have to be very, very creative when it comes to maxing out that skill. Level 5 fishing though, we're going to take fisher. Fish for 25% more, it just means more money for us. Now more times than not, when we go out, do an activity, we stay out until our character passes out. Reason being, we're not too worried about money for this challenge, we just want the XP, and if we get a skill up, we start the next day with full energy. Now I didn't sell all the fish I caught yesterday because I was waiting for a 25% extra passive, for the fish selling, so I sold fish directly to Willie today, bringing me up to over 8,000 gold. With this, we're going to get the first backpack upgrade. Getting this earlier than later will actually save us a lot of money. With the rest of the money, we are actually going to buy parsnip seeds. When it comes to XP per seed, you can't go wrong with parsnip. So I did go a little bit crazy here and I purchased over 300. This is actually necessary if we're going to max out farming in spring. I have tried on many occasions to max out farming in spring. I've used potatoes, I've used kale, I've used all different sorts of methods. I found that parsnips, believe it or not, are the most effective way when it comes to getting the most XP out of farming in spring. We will of course try to get strawberries as well, but parsnips, they're going to lay the foundation for us. Now if we're going to water all these parsnips, we have to think about how we're going to actually do it energy wise. It's going to consume huge amounts of energy. Now let's be realistic about this. We're not going to be watering these parsnips today. It took just over half the day to hoe up the ground to plant the parsnips, but not to worry. We have a whole month to get the job done here, and this is just going to be the first batch of parsnips. So today primarily is going to be spent just hoeing up the ground. All of this ground will do us for the whole month as well, so it's a good time investment. Tomorrow, our watering process will begin. Into the next day, we're going to start by picking up all these parsnips. We're not going to sell these though. These will be used to give us back energy so we can actually water up all these crops. Now it is going to take us a considerable amount of time to water these crops. So we really need rainy days to make this challenge work. Thankfully tomorrow's going to be a rainy day, so that's going to really pay off for us. In terms of how long it's going to take to water up these 300 parsnips, it's going to take roughly just over half the day. We just got to 2 o'clock there and we're finished. Most of our parsnips are gone. We don't have a whole lot of energy, but it's got to be done if we want to max out the skill. Eventually we can go for sprinklers as well to automate the process, so we need level 6 farming for that. All those parsnips would greatly help us get to level 6 farming sooner rather than later. This also means we have to look at the mines as well, so we can't just fish every day. We have to think about the materials we need to make sprinklers. If we're going for quality sprinklers, we're going to need to get down into the bottom layer of the mine to get gold, because a quality sprinkler requires refined quartz, a gold bar and an iron bar, and because we have such a big farming land that's operational at the moment, we're going to need a lot of sprinklers to cover all of that range. We're in the mines at the moment, making some progress. We got down to floor 10, we're going to pick up the leather boots. Now if we see copper nodes, we're going to grab them. We need to make a lot of furnaces because we need to smelt a lot of bars. We can also make cherry bombs out of the copper as well, so copper still has a lot of uses, despite the fact that we're just primarily going to play spring to see if we can max out the skills. Now if we come across bugs, they're very valuable, because all of that lovely bug meat they drop can be turned into bait. Just means we won't have to buy bait off Willy, and it means more fishing XP for us. Now every 5 levels we're going to smelt bars in the furnace, and then we're going to run up, collect the bars and run back down to make more progression. We need to start upgrading tools right now. We do have 4 copper bars at the moment. We're going to head back into the mines, get the 5th. We're then going to do some fishing, but once Clint opens up, we might go into him and drop off a tool, but first we need money, hence we're pulling up more fishies today. Lots of catfish. Now I just need 2,000 gold for the tool upgrade and 5 copper bars, so we're going to head over to Willy first, sell him a few of the fishies that we caught, and then we're going to go to Clint and we're going to get him to upgrade our pickaxe to a copper straight away. It just means we can make faster progression in the mines because we just don't have time right now. This is a timed challenge. Can we max out all the skills in spring? I don't know, we're going to have to find out. But I can tell you one thing, it's going to be a serious grind. A grind like nothing I've tried before. Every single day has to be perfected. So we got 250 gold off Gunther for handing in the first artifact. We're then going to go to the saloon and we're going to purchase some salads. We need the salads now for energy, because this rain isn't going to last forever, and watering up those parsnips requires an absolute ton of energy. We are going to do some preparation today though. I want to get foraging level 3 at the very minimum, and the reason why we need foraging level 3 is so we can make a very valuable item known as the cookout kit. This will allow us to cook any item in the game without having to upgrade our house. It really is a beautiful item to get. What's more, we also need wood, 300 pieces to be exact, so we can fix up the bridge. I want to get into the tidepool area today to get all of the additional forageables. But there's another reason for this. We need those forageables to make a bait maker, because you need coral and you need sea urchins to make a bait maker. So all of this foraging we're doing right now is going to dramatically pay off. Because not only are we going to get tons of foraging XP, but we're also going to get field snacks, which we need for energy the next day, and we're also going to get access to the tidepool area. So this is the amount of planning I had to do in advance before I started the day. Every day required a lot of planning. Now I managed to make it down here late because it took a while to get to 300 wood, but it's so worth it. Putting up all of these forageables and cutting down all of the trees got us to level 3 foraging, and that activated the cookout kit. So it was a good day. The next day we don't have rain, but the day after we do. Now I'll be honest with you, I was blessed with rainy days for this challenge. If I didn't get so many rainy days, there was absolutely no way I was going to max out these skills. Today was a huge mistake, and I really should have reset today and fished somewhere else. You see, I came down today to start fishing up the goby. And I mean, it's a nice fish money wise, but I was only getting regular level gobies, not even silver or gold star fish down here. What's more, the fishing bite rates down here, I mean, they weren't that great. I really should have just went to the lake today and focused on bullheads and largemouth basses and carps. I would have got a lot more fishing XP and I would have got a lot more money. So today, day number 7, was a huge mistake. And this mistake is going to cost me dearly because every single day matters in this challenge. So if I could go back in time and redo this challenge, I would have absolutely reset today and I would have set up in the lake for the whole day. But look, we can only learn through experience. Level 6 fishing though, we can now make the bait maker. And this is an absolute game changer. This is going to excel our fishing levels through the roof over the next few days. But we have to make it. We need 3 iron bars along with the forageables we got in the tidepool area to make it. So we have to do a little bit more mine progression to get our hands on the bait maker. Now I did pick up a blueberry tart today from outside the saloon. That's why it's so important to open up trash cans. I went to Clint, got my copper pickaxe. We're going straight back into the mines now because I want to get down into the 40s to start getting iron ores so we can make that bait maker. That's the priority right now. We're going to smelt up more bars. We're going to make more furnaces. The next tool upgrade will more than likely be the axe. Because if we want to max out foraging, we need a very powerful axe. At least a gold level axe. Because with a gold axe, you can take 3 out in 4 swings. Now today was a good day. We got some skill ups in combat and mining. I was pretty happy with that. Day number 9. Now this is going to be a fabulous day. It was a rainy day, okay, but also we get to pick up all of these parsnips. Now the big question was, did I have enough parsnips to obtain a level of 6? I didn't. I had enough to give me a level of 5, which was a pity because if I got a level of 6, I could have literally spammed the mines and I could have prioritized quality sprinklers, but we didn't get there. We were close, but no reward. I did, however, get enough money to go to Willie's and purchase an iridium rod. We're going to sell all of the parsnips now to Pierre. That brings us up to 11,000. With that, we're going to purchase 300 more parsnips. The reason why I didn't purchase more is because it just would have taken me longer to water them all up, and I was happy enough with 300. I also purchased 2 pieces of oil, and I did an absolute ton of fishing today, just outside of the saloon. Now, the reason why is because we need to go to the saloon and get the hash browns recipe. We need this to make the dish of the sea, which is unlocked at level 3 fishing. We're also going to go to Clint. We're going to upgrade our axe now to a copper axe. We really need the axe upgrades. We're going to plant all of our parsnips. We're also going to make the cookout kit, and then we are going to make some hash browns, and then we're going to turn the hash browns into dish of the sea using our lovely sardines. Now, we only have a fishing skill of 9 at the moment. It's not enough, even combined with the dish of the sea, to fight the legend. So we're going to have to do a lot of fishing today. Now I did get very lucky, I got jewels of the sea. That means fishing treasure chests have a chance to yield raw, which is going to be the same as the fish you pulled up. That means there's a chance if we pull up the legend, if we get a treasure chest, we can get legend raw, which would be nice, but I mean, you need to be very lucky to get that. I did get a diamond today. That says for 750 gold. We can also keep it for triple shot espresso when we get to the desert. Now, I got level 7 finally, but it was late. I managed to get a go off the legend here at 10 o'clock. Now, this was quite the battle, but RNG was on my side, and the legend managed to stay still just long enough for me to pull it up. 225 XP for catching that. It was also a gold star legend. Now, I needed money straight away, so I'm not going to try to put this into a fish pond because it's just a spring challenge. So we're just going to sell it, get some cash, and move on. For the rest of the night, we're just going to do more fishing. Now, we got a ton of skid ups today. We got farming all the way up to 5, so we're going to get tiller, crops for 10% more, and we got fishing all the way up to level 7. So in terms of productiveness, in terms of skid ups, today was a magnificent day. I also made 14,000 gold from selling diamonds and fish and other bits and pieces, so I was very happy with the gold as well. Now, Demetrius paid us a visit today. We're going to take the mushrooms because every 2 days, not only do the mushrooms give us lots of XP, we also get a free dehydrator, and we also get foraging XP every time we loot those lovely mushrooms. So the mushrooms just made a lot more sense than the bat cave for this very specific challenge. We're back down in the mines now today, and we are all about getting iron ores. Once I get 3 iron bars, we're going to go for the bait maker, and then we need a lot more iron bars to get the tool upgrades. So we need 5 for the steel pickaxe, and we need 5 for the regular axe. We also need even more iron ores to make bombs for Skull Cavern runs. So we need huge mountains of iron ores right now. It was finally time to make the bait maker. We had the sea urchin, we had the coral, and we had the iron bars. Now, as I said before, the bait maker is probably one of the best things you can make early game, mid game, and end game, because you can basically use it to abuse certain types of fish. And today we are going to set down some furnaces right beside the bait maker, and we are going to smelt some bars and pull up some catfish at the same time. Now, when you get the bait of a fish, it doesn't guarantee you're going to get that fish every single time, but when it comes to catfish, you have a very high chance to get one. I'd say, from experience, you have about at least a 90 or a 95% chance you're going to get a catfish with the bait. Occasionally, we do get the likes of a smallmouth bass, or we might get a shad or something like that, but the majority of times, we're going to get catfish. And I'm going to show you right now, just look at all these catfish we pull up. You'll notice that sometimes when I pull up a catfish, we get 68 XP instead of the 30 or 31 XP. That just means that we got a treasure chest with that catfish. We don't actually get any perfect catches today. Now, the catfish roe is worth a lot of money, and we ended up getting a fair amount of catfish roe today, which is really nice. Now, I mean, I could have made some preserve bins, I could have aged that and got more money. To be honest, it just didn't occur to me at the time I was doing this challenge. Only now that I'm going back doing the voiceover, I'm realising things I could have done better. Now, we did get a sneaky tool upgrade there done with Clint, so that's going to be a steel pickaxe. That's the minimum requirement for a Skull Cavern run. Once that pickaxe is done, we'll then go ahead and we'll get the axe upgraded to steel as well. Just got 6 more catfish roe there. I mean, today was just a great day all round for making lots of money. We also have at least level 5 fishing, so we're getting 25% more money for getting all these lovely catfish. Now, we got level 8 fishing today, which was nice. It is going to be a serious grind to get the last 2 levels, but it has to be done. The sooner we can max out fishing, the sooner we can go and prioritise other skills. Now, obviously, once we max out fishing, you're never going to see fishing again for the entirety of the challenge, because we can go into the mines, even the regular mines, for mining XP and combat. Although, when it comes to mining XP, the Skull Cavern is the ultimate location, because 1 iridium vein gives you 50. And once you kind of get past floor 50, especially past floor 100, you're going to see tons of iridium. We are going to go to the community centre though, and we are going to complete some bundles. I managed to get a maple syrup from the travelling cart. I had everything else from roaming around the place. Because I had now 2 bundles completed in the crafts room, that will give me access to the boiler room, which we want to complete as quickly as possible to get the fast travel. The fast travel is going to save us enormous amounts of time, especially because we're always going to Clint getting tool upgrades, so it would be nice to just upgrade a tool with Clint, use the fast travel to get back to the farm quickly, or to get back up to the mines. I made 8,000 gold today, primarily from picking up lots of largemouth bass. It is by far the best method in spring to get fishing XP, because it's much easier to get a perfect catch from a largemouth bass than it is to get a perfect catch from the likes of a catfish. Now, we managed to get tons of skid ups today from these parsnips. Today is strawberry day, but before we go into the strawberry event, we will use as much time as the game gives us to water up all of that lovely whole ground. Now I purchased well over 300 strawberry seeds today. This is needed to max out farming. We also won the egg hunt as well, so we're going to get a straw hat as a prize, which was nice. But primarily we went to that event to get the strawberries. These are by far the best spring crop you can get for XP. Now once we had all the strawberries planted, I ran back down to the tide pool because today was Saturday, and I pulled up all of the forageables before they reset into the next week. Level 6 farming, we can now make quarterly sprinklers, but we also got additional farming levels too, so that was nice. There's 3 more levels to go to max out farming. Hopefully the strawberries will do the job for us. Now, we needed to upgrade more tools today from Clint, so as you can see, I'm taking my furnaces with me, and we're going to smelt bars while fish at the same time again. So we're just going to do this now until we get enough iron bars to go into Clint and upgrade our axe to a steel axe. Once the bars were ready, it was time to take back our steel pickaxe and then hand in our axe to be upgraded. Now, the steel pickaxe is the best we're going to go for the rest of the challenge. All future upgrades will be on the axe. The rest of the day, it was just fishing up in the lake. Even though it was a rainy day, I prioritised largemouth bass for the fishing XP over the catfish, because I just want to max out fishing now and move on, and I was under huge time pressure to get this done. We're now over halfway through this challenge. I needed to start maxing out skills. So we're going to go to the boiler room today. I managed to get a gold bar from getting ores from the fishing treasure chests. I got the bat wings just from killing bats in the regular mines, and I managed to get a solar essence as well from killing the ghosts. I managed to get everything else, such as the fire quartz, from fishing treasure chests and going into the mines. Today was not a rainy day. We are going to spend this whole day putting up largemouth bass. 60 XP for the perfect catch, so we do try our best to get as many perfect catches as possible to maximise our fishing efforts. If you see the 55 XP pop up, that means we got a largemouth bass with a fishing treasure chest. Now, I did pull up an Asian seed today. I thought this was hilarious because it's such a rare find, but I'm not going to use it because it's just a spring challenge. We won't be moving on from spring. It was nice to get it, but not important. Now, today was day number 16. We finally maxed out fishing. I was very close to getting it done on day 15, but I just didn't get the amount of perfect catches that I wanted. Now, once I did max out fishing, it was straight back into the mines. And at this moment in time, the only thing we cared about is getting down to floor 120, grabbing that skull key and getting into this skull caverns. Now, we need money to get into the skull caverns because we have to unlock the bus. So, we're banking on the strawberries to give us enough cash to get into the skull caverns. And I'm telling you right now, we're going to get more than enough money once those strawberries are fully grown to get all of that unlocked. I just made it down to floor 80 today. That means I can start farming gold tomorrow. Level 10 fishing will take angular for now. We also got some skill ups in combat and mining, which was nice. Now, I was waiting for level 10 fishing to sell all of the fish that I have been saving up, so I am going to get huge amounts of money after today. Now, if you've noticed, I'm using a crystal dagger because I just didn't get a better weapon. I have been extremely unlucky when it comes to weapon upgrades, and if I had got just a slightly better weapon, even a Neptune's glaive, I would have made way faster progress in the mines. Now, I did pick up the slammer, but it was, she ran floor 85. We were going to get the obsidian edge on floor 90 anyway, but it was still a nice weapon to get, I suppose. Much better than the crystal dagger, that's for sure. I picked up the monster compendium. It's alright. Monsters have a small chance to drop double loot. It just means more money for us. So we've moved our furnaces back up into the mines. Every 5 or 10 floors we descend, we just head back up to floor 0 and we'll smelt up more bars. I made it to floor 99 there. On the 17th, I was so close to floor 100, but alas, we can't be lucky every single day. I did make over 12,000 gold though from selling fish, which was nice. And that's going to be the last time you're going to see fish sold in this challenge. We're now going to focus on mining, we're going to focus on foraging, combat. We need to max out all these very quickly. Now, I didn't have enough gold to unlock all of the vault bundles, but I didn't want to be walking around with all this money on me. So I decided to unlock a few bundles. I'm going to get the chocolate cake though. That's going to come in very handy for health and energy. All I needed now is 25,000 gold for the final bundle. So we're just making more progression in the mines. We got to floor 100 today. That's our first and last airdrop you're going to see in this challenge. Now, it's nice getting it. It does max out our energy again, and it also increases our maximum energy. I picked up a skill book today. So lucky. It can be 250 XP towards mining. I'm going to take that any day of the week. If I come across diamonds, it's very exciting. They give 150 XP. It's probably the best node you can mine in the game for XP, so even if you encounter Musco Caverns, it's always an exciting prospect. On floor 111, I came across even more diamonds, which was nice. At the end of today, we didn't make it down to floor 120, but we got very close. We did get past level 5 mining, so we will take the miner. I was thinking about the geologist, but I figured more ores would be better, especially when it comes to Skull Caverns, because it means we can make more bombs. It also means we can get more iridium, we can sell more bars and make more cash. And cash is still needed, especially if the travelling cart or the book merchant are selling skill books and we want to buy those for the extra pieces of XP. When I got down to floor 120, we picked up the skull key. The only thing now that's stopping us from doing Skull Cavern runs is the money. But eventually, we will get a crack at the strawberries, so we will be able to unlock it that way. Now, I did get very lucky here and got a mushroom floor. We also picking up more diamonds. All of those purple mushrooms are going to come in fierce handy. I will try my best not to sell them all because they're really good for energy and health, but we can definitely sell the red ones. So a big focus on gold ores at the moment. We're then going to go back to Clint. We got our steel axe. Now, I made a critical decision today. Keep my money, prioritise the Skull Caverns, or spend some of it to get the axe upgrade. I got the axe upgrade. Trust me, it's more important. We need a good axe to accumulate tons of foraging XP. We also need to look at how much time we have left before we can max out foraging. Today's the 19th. You know, we're over halfway through the challenge. There's only literally a handful of days left before we get into summer, so we need to make some serious strides. Level 6 mining, we can make bombs. That's minimum requirement for Skull Cavern. Level 5 combat, we'll take fighter. More damage. That means less hits to wipe out an enemy. Now, we made 9,500 gold today. I sold all of the diamonds I'd been collecting because I just wanted to make some money back from the upgrade that I got with the axe. We got level 4 foraging thanks to the mushroom cave. We're now going to go back into the mines and we're now smelting up refined quartz because we want to make some sprinklers. Cherry bombs are still absolutely amazing, especially for those big chunky nodes of gold ores all combined together. These squid kids are probably one of the best enemies in the game for XP because you can kill them in one hit and they give 15 XP per kill. So it's always nice to come across those. Now before the day finished, I ran down to the beach here just to get all of the forageables because they accumulate throughout the week. Saturday is the last day you can get them before the reset. Level 4 foraging allows me to make mushroom logs. It's a good way to get foraging XP, however, we didn't have access to moss, so mushroom logs were out of the question for now. Now, we've got over 300 strawberries we get to harvest today. This is going to push us up into level 9 farming. The next batch of strawberries should give us level 10. What's more, we're going to go back to Clint to get the gold axe. Now, we don't have any iridium bars right now, so we can't upgrade that axe to iridium, so no upgrades for the moment. We will hand in all of the dwarf scrolls we have been collecting from the mines. We will get the translations guide. This is going to come in very handy because this allows us to buy bombs off the dwarf. Bombs are very expensive, but we don't care about money right now. What we care about is XP, and we've got more than enough money to unlock the bus. 72,000 gold. The first thing we're going to get is the final backpack upgrade. We're then going to go straight back into the community centre. We're going to pay 25,000 gold, unlock the last vault upgrade. We're going to collect our crystallarium and other bits and bobs. We're now going to visit Gus here, and we are going to purchase just over 30 salads there. That should be enough for the few Skull Cavern runs. Because we had steel tools, says, you know what, no harm just running up here, getting the alleyway buffet. It just means we have a greater chance to get some useful out of a trash can instead of trash. We're then going to go talk to the dwarf here. We're going to pick up the safety manual. It just means bombs do less damage to us, so I'm not digging into more salads than I should, because I always hit myself with bombs in the Skull Cavern. Now, the bombs are way more expensive than what they used to be, but it might come in handy for the sake of getting XP later on in the challenge. 1,000 euro for the bomb is a total rip-off, but if it means we can get into Skull Caverns and we can start detonating nodes for XP, then so be it. Today, we're sacrificing strawberries to put down some sprinklers. It's going to be a huge time saver. Level 8 and 9 farming, thank you very much. Now, we also got level 6 combat, which was nice. The next day, we're going to make some bombs. We're now going to prepare for the Skull Cavern run. With the remaining of our money, we're going to buy even more bombs. This is a quick look at our skills. Farming 9, mining 7, foraging 4, fishing 10, and combat 6. Now, farming is going to be maxed out in a couple of days with the last batch of strawberries. That's done. Mining should be maxed out in the next day or two with Skull Cavern runs. Combat should get huge increases as well because we're going to scout caverns. The challenge is going to be foraging. And look how many days that are left before spring is finished. You're probably wondering to yourselves, how on earth are we going to max out foraging with just a handful of days left? Just keep watching the video. So we are going to purchase stone off Robin to make more staircases, just to make faster progression in the mines. We're going to go to Pierre, sell some things I don't need to get over 500 gold, which will afford me one lovely bus ticket to the desert. Strap yourselves in, it is time for a fabulous Skull Cavern run, but first, we are going to go to the desert trader, and we're going to trade in some diamonds for trouble shot expressos for the speed buff, and we're going to trade in rubies for spicy eels for an additional speed buff as well. Now, we got lucky in floor number 2, we got a hole which brought us down 8 levels. We also managed to get some iridium ores here on the early floors, which was nice. So as you can see, we just got mining level 8 there from detonating some iridium nodes. Now, if we run out of bombs, not to worry, we have the required level in mining to easily make more. We just needed some iron ores and some coal, and you can get plenty of that in the Skull Caverns. We got very lucky today with holes. When we got down to floor 81, I finally picked up a prismatic shard. I was getting a bit worried because I was really banking on a galaxy weapon during my first Skull Cavern run. To be honest, if I didn't get that weapon, I would have reset the day and I would have redone this dungeon over and over again until I got a prismatic shard before going into day number 23. This was absolutely critical because the galaxy sword is much faster than the slammer. It also deals very good damage. It just means wiping out enemies is just way more efficient because we need to max out combat as well. So we got level 8 and level 9 mining, one more level to go. Now, before we go back to the Skull Caverns today, we're going to smelt up some ores to make iridium bars. We need this so we can sell some bars to get more money so we can buy more resources to do more effective Skull Cavern runs. It's simple as that. We're going to go back to the desert now, get our galaxy weapon, straight back down into the mines. We're not too worried about getting deep today. I want to focus a bit more on combat. The purple slimes are really good for combat XP, especially the big ones, because when you destroy them, if you can force them into a corner, sometimes 4 or 5 plus little slimes can pop out. Each one of those slimes will give you 10 XP. Now look, they have a ton of HP, but if you can corner them, you can get huge chunks of XP very quickly. Now I managed to get a rain totem today. I thought this was great. I activated the totem so I wouldn't have to water crops tomorrow because I didn't have the whole farm covered in sprinklers. This was a huge waste of a totem because tomorrow was the flower dance, so we weren't going to get a rainy day. So big mistake there. We didn't max out mining, but we did get a skill up in combat, and we got 10,000 gold off Mr. Key for making it past floor 30 in the Skull Caverns. You only get it once, but it's a nice boon. With that gold, just went to the dwarf, bought more bombs. I mean, look, I need skill ups, I need XP, so I don't mind spending money on resources like that for the sake of this challenge. Now, when I got back down to the Skull Caverns at floor 40 and picked up 5 mega bombs, I was absolutely delighted with this because I just wanted bombs, more bombs just to detonate nodes. I was very close to getting mining level 10. Once I unlocked mining level 10, I left the Skull Caverns immediately, went back to the regular mines, and I figured that I would accumulate more combat XP here than I would in the Skull Caverns because the enemies you fight at the bottom layer of the regular mines give just as much XP as the Skull Cavern enemies, and a lot of them have less XP. Now, I can tell you right now, I regret this decision, okay? If I could go back and redo this challenge, I would have stayed in the Skull Caverns because the big purple blobs give way more XP than any of these enemies could give. Now, in all fairness, on floor 86 here, I found an infested floor, and I can farm this over and over again. So the trick today was to wipe out all the enemies on this floor, leave the mines, go back in, get down to floor 86 as quickly as possible, and rinse and repeat. We got level 10 mining. We're going to take blacksmith. Metal bars are 50% more. That's good for us though, because it just means we can sell bars now at a much higher price, and we can buy a lot more resources. And I had a lot of iridium bars to sell. I made 35,000 gold, which is pretty good. Today is day number 25, so we're going to pull up all of the strawberries, and this is going to give us a farming of level 10. It was really nice to get this done. I never ever managed to get farming level 10 in any of my previous Stardew Valley challenges, so it was nice to finally work out a formula that unlocked farming level 10 before summer. It was back down into the regular versions of the mines, and we were wiping out enemies to try to max out combat. Now, I also regret this decision. If I could go back and redo this challenge, I would have stuck to this called caverns. I would have focused on the big purple slime bobs, and I just would have went out and in to floor 1 over and over again, fighting the slime bobs and other enemies. I feel like if I did that, I probably would have got combat level 10 a lot faster, which would have given me more time for foraging, you see. So as of now, I'd farming maxed out, fishing maxed out, and I had mining maxed out. We're going to max out combat in the next day or two, and this will then leave foraging. Now you're probably still wondering to yourselves, how do we max this out before summer? Just keep watching. Now, I came across a lot of infestation floors, which was nice, and it was nice fighting those red blobs, especially if you got the big ones. Farming level 10 gives artisan 40% more for artisan goods. If this was a money challenge, I could have turned all of the strawberries into dried strawberries using a dehydrator. 10,000 gold to get the recipe off Pierre. I picked up some cool clothes here too from wiping out enemies. I got a cool helmet from killing the metalheads, and I got the camo shirt as well. Now, floor 92 was an infested floor, but there wasn't a whole lot of enemies on this floor compared to others. So I decided to fight everything on this floor and move on to the next, hoping to get a much more efficient infested floor. Now, I was level 9 combat at the moment, but you need 5,000 XP to go from level 9 to level 10. And I mean, it's a huge increase to go from level 8 to level 9. Now, I thought what was hilarious was getting a monster eradication goal for fighting spirits, you know, in spring. It was nice to get that. I had to go back to Gus to get salads because I was under a huge time pressure to max out combat. My fighting skills weren't very refined. I was taking a lot of hits from enemies because I was trying to rush through everything, so I needed salads to keep alive. I finally got the floor 106, which was the perfect floor to farm enemies. Unfortunately, I got here too late. I was thinking about resetting today and just farming the floor for the whole day, but I said, you know what? No, I'm almost level 10 combat now, there isn't really a point. I made lots of money today from selling mining materials, 22,222. What a number! We are now on day number 27. We needed to max out combat today. And you're probably still wondering now, are we going to max out foraging? Just keep watching, okay? Because I'm going to show you some insane foraging tactics within the next day or two. You've never seen anything like it before, I can assure you. Very creative ways to get foraging XP. And we had a lot of resources. We've got lots of money. We've got a gold axe. You know, we've got stuff that we can use to try to accumulate lots of foraging XP. Once we got level 10 combat, we were straight out of these mines. Quicker than you can say subscribe to the channel, please. It is now the final day of the challenge, and we are cutting down trees like there's no tomorrow. Because there is no tomorrow, it's the final day. Now, I have bombs, okay? Bombs will shave XP off trees. We don't want to wipe out the trees with bombs, we just want to damage the trees so we can cut them down in maybe 1 or 2 strikes of an axe. So the tactic I'm using today is to use mega bombs and regular bombs, hit the trees maybe 2 or 3 times, and then come in with the axe and wipe them out. And just saves me time. Now look, even if we don't have bombs, it just takes 4 swings. If I redone this challenge, I would have prioritized an iridium axe. It would have made things a lot easier. I also have speed buffs as well, so we can get around faster. We've also got lots of tree stumps as well on the old farm, so we get 25 XP per stump. Now the big question is, are there enough trees in Stardew Valley to max out foraging in one day? There isn't, okay? So what I'm trying to say here is that I don't actually max out all of my skills in spring. I just could not find the time to max out foraging. Foraging is extremely hard to max out. But we're not going to give up. I am going to give it some serious work today, and I'm going to cut down as many trees as time permits me. I have salads for energy, I've got lots of bombs, we're going to do all of the trees in our farm. Once we're finished here, we can then run into Cindersap Forest, we can do all of the trees there. So the big question now is how much XP we're going to come out with after wiping out every single tree in the game. Now we don't get all of the trees, but we do get the majority, you know. I don't do the tree stumps because you only get maybe 1 or 2 XP for those. It just wasn't worth it time wise. If I had all the time in the world, of course, my OCD would trigger, the tree stumps would have to be eliminated. Now, I did go to the travelling cart. There was a chance she will sell an infinite amount of skill books, so there was a small chance she would sell something that would increase foraging skill, but she didn't. And I did make a tip there a couple of months ago about maxing out foraging in one day. You can, if you have, I think, something like 100,000 or 150,000 gold. That would allow you to buy enough skill books, because each one gives you 250 XP. So you could buy enough to max yourself out, but we just didn't get the luck. And I did check the travelling cart occasionally, and if I'm being honest, I was really banking on the travelling cart having that option where you could buy all of the skill books, and I could just spam books to get the XP I needed. But you know what? If I redone this challenge, I would have changed a lot of things. For example, earlier on, when I fished down by the waterfall, I would have instead fished by the lake. That probably would have saved me a whole day when it comes to maxing out fishing. When it comes to maxing out combat, I spent way too much time in the regular mines. I felt like if I just spammed floor 1 in the Skull Caverns, I could have gotten that done way earlier, which would have given me more time to get foraging up. But then at the same time, there's only so many trees in the game. So if I redone this challenge, I probably would have prioritized foraging up to maybe level 5, so I get double foraging XP, and I would have made a lot of spring seeds to get a lot of the foraging XP from the farm. So maybe slightly less amount of parsnips and more of a balance between parsnip seeds and then forageable seeds. That could have potentially done it. But please let me know in the comments of your methods. Let me know what I could have done better, because there's two things I really want to do with this game. Number 1, I want to make 1 million gold in spring. Number 2, I want to max out all skills in spring. Now, level 10 combat, we'll take brute, 15% more damage. Level 5 foraging, we're going to go with gatherer, of course. It would have been nice to get that maybe in the first week of the challenge. That would have resulted in a lot more XP. Level 7 foraging would have given us the 3 fertilizers as well. So, you know, a lot of things we have to think about. So that is the challenge finished with, but we're not going to end the video right now. Let's take a look at everything that we have accumulated. Let's take a look at the skills, okay? Farming maxed out, mining maxed out, fishing and combat maxed out. We got foraging up to level 6. This was by far my best attempt ever at trying to max out skills in spring. Now look, Concerned Ape has nerfed the spring seeds. When it comes to foraging, you only get half the XP you used to get. You now get foraging XP and farming XP, so it's something we'll have to look at the next time we try it. Now before I end this video, let's see how much starfruit we can actually buy from min-maxing almost every single day that we did in this challenge, because every single day was, you know, literally to the bone when it comes to time efficiency, and I had to reset a lot of days, you know, to kind of get to places where I wanted to be before the next day happened. So this video did take me a long time to make. But I am proud of my achievement. I know I didn't max out all of my skills, but I done something I never done before. I maxed out at least 4 of the 5 skills, and I made very good progress in foraging as well. So let's go to Clint, let's sell him out of the iridium bars, other bits and bobs. I've got 135,000 gold now, 139,000 gold going into summer. Let's see how much starfruit we can buy with that. If this was a money challenge, you know, like a 100-day money challenge, I mean, 347 starfruit seeds, that's not bad, you know? And we have a lot of sprinklers put down as well. So let me know if you want to see me continue this challenge and turn it into a money challenge, or if we'll just start fresh with something else. I just want to thank everyone for taking the time to watch. I really do appreciate you. Like and subscribe if you want to see more Stardew Valley challenges. I hope you all have a fantastic week, and I will see you very soon in the next Stardew Valley challenge. Bye for now.